Hopefully it doesn't kick us out.
Yeah, I think the hat idea is good too. I have so many to show off.
Okay, now we're live on YouTube again. So let's scoot this over here. Scoot Facebook over here. Should be good to go. YouTube does not like me, Kira.
Bucks.
That is for sure. Thanks, John. Operator error. Appreciate that. Chris, you can call me Bucks. That's cool. Stacy's gonna wear a hat too.
I like this idea. I have so many hats that I never wear, and I'll just wear them for y'all here. A different hat every week.
I just bought 2 more hats.
I also have this sundress hat, but I think I'll wait. Look, it's a little bit warmer.
Poor Merrick. We were on the other YouTube one, and he just got kicked off, so I guess come find us again.
Good plan.
I just bought 3 more hats, everybody. So
what are they?
Coming at you. 1 Adidas hat, and then 2 more Travis Matthews hats. All right, Facebook, can you hear us? Can you hear us, Facebook? How is COVID-19 going out in Cali? I mean, it's actually going pretty well, except obviously not for the people that have it. But it could be a whole lot worse. Everyone's doing a pretty good job over here in staying in their homes. I feel like since we were one of the first states to actually shut down, that the governors handled it pretty well, if you've asked me. Kira says she's bored. I know, guys.
No, she said boring.
Yeah, meaning COVID is boring.
Oh, I thought she was like boring. I was like, sorry.
COVID has been boring for all of us, but at the same time, I keep telling people, like, it is boring, but boredom is an okay price to pay for saving lives. So the flu is contagious for like 3 days or something like that, and this is contagious up to like 16 days or more. That's why it's so much more gnarly than the flu. That and other things, but yeah. So COVID is, I don't know. I feel like I'm kind of used to it now. Like it's kind of just life.
Not much has really changed for me. Still doing
like it's still going to work and everything, so not much has changed for her.
It is kind of nice having a little extra downtime though, not going to events, because I just went to so many events. I don't
know. So I'll give you guys kind of an update on my life. I'm having a hard time because what's up, Evan? My tooth broke, so that's really cool.
I want to see it.
Can't really tell. It's like right here.
Oh yeah, not really. Well, especially when.
Can you see it?
Well, yeah, your finger over it. It's not bad. Just put some white Play-Doh in it.
Gross. I was flossing, and then a chunk of it just comes off. So
you should get a water pick.
I have really small teeth. So how did you manage that? Okay, yeah, I was flossing, but in order to tell a story, I have to go backwards 11 years. So when I was 17, I had braces, and like they straightened out my whole teeth, all my teeth, but my teeth are so small that even when they were straightened out, they didn't connect. So they had to go in and, hi, good to see you, Kylie. But they had to like fill in all the gaps. So that's what happened. And I'm not bragging about my teeth. I'm complaining.
Just chipped off.
And my teeth just broke. See these gaps right here? It's because the bonding fell off. So I have to go get that done. But the world's falling apart, so I can't do that right now. Becca brought out 2 hats to wear.
Yeah, maybe I should try on the other one.
Okay. Let's see what we got going on.
Ooh.
All right, guys. Let me see how many of you guys, hi, Sean and Ezra, how many of you guys watched the teaching from last night or this afternoon? I posted it last night. I hope that you guys watched it. Stop touch your face in mouth, Jordan. Sorry for touching my face and
That's
mouth.
all you
Sorry.
do, actually. You touch your face a lot.
I know. And I shaved today, so I'm all silky smooth.
Thanks. I like this hat too.
Gosh. Okay, Abby watched the teaching. Cool. The teaching I posted last night. I try and post it on Wednesday nights. Sometimes it doesn't come out until Thursday mornings, but I'm trying to post it as soon as possible these days. I filmed it yesterday in my office at about 2:30, and it took me about four hours to edit. So, or figure out how to edit. So by the time I got it to post, it was like 7 o'clock. But I hope you guys have checked that out. Annika and Abby did so many push-ups. I know, because I trip over my words all day long, and I didn't used to do it, but I don't know what happened. I think my tongue got shorter or something. Yeah, you're ripped. You're gonna be even more ripped by the end of quarantine, because I'm gonna keep tripping over myself as I give more talks. I can't even get out that sentence. But yoked on Jesus, that's right. So we talked about judgment. If you have your Bibles, you can grab them and open up to Matthew 7. I don't think I need to cover it word for word, because I hope that you guys read it. And if you haven't, I'm going to tell you to go turn this off right now and go read it. And then you can come back when you're done. But Matthew 7:1, it starts out talking about, not judging others. And we turn there now. It says, do not judge, or you too will be judged. And that's kind of how it starts. Then it goes in talking about what happens when you judge others and why. And so that's what I want to summarize our conversation from yesterday and kind of just go over that. So what it looks like to judge. For me, I can be a pretty judgy person, so I judge all the time. Do you judge all the time?
Mm-hmm.
Are you a judgy person?
I think I'm a judgy person.
Becca's a pretty judgy person.
Oh, what?
And so I think Becca judges more than I do.
All right, judge human judge.
That was a judgment. See?
I do judge, but I'm more. Well, actually, I was gonna say I'm a silent judger, but that's not true. I judge out loud. That's not good.
Well, silent judging is still judging.
Well, I was gonna say, like, oh, maybe you don't think I'm a judger because I'm a silent judger, but I'm like, yeah, I think we judge a lot.
We do judge a lot. All of us judge a lot. It's what we do, and I kind of use that metaphor of when someone judges someone we love, it makes us angry, and we're like, hey, you're not allowed to judge that person. Only I'm allowed to do that, like your little brother or sister. Like, you can't make fun of them. Only I can make fun of them. It's fine when I do it, but when you do it, it ticks me off. And I just kind of shared how that's how Jesus feels, when he tells us to love one another, and then we go out and we start treating each other like dirt. And he's like, you're not allowed to do that to each other. Like, you suck just as much as they suck. Don't try and compare yourself or tell them that what they're doing is worse than whatever you're doing, because that's just not the reality. And really, God is the only one that can, that's going to be able to judge us supremely and righteously on the day of judgment. Now, with that said, I don't want anyone to be confused. That does not mean that you can't, call someone out on their sin, right? And I want to be careful with how I say calling someone out, because it is not right for you to be like, hey, dude, you're a sinner. Or, hey, dude, you shouldn't do that because God doesn't like it. Like, that's not how you should do anything. For one, if you're going to ever approach someone in their sin, you need to make sure, and this is what the rest of chapter 7, 1 through 5 talks about, is I think it's 1 through 5, right? 1 through 5. What are you laughing at?
Mm-hmm.
I think we should make Becca do push-ups.
No, people are loving my hats.
Oh
Keep going.
Okay.
I support you.
Oh, Kira says, how dare you? I actually had to exercise. Sorry about it. You're going to have to do more. But now I'm distracted. People are talking about their hat.
When you give your talk, I'll wear my hair.
She'll wear her hair. Annika, what was I talking about? You always keep me in check.
You were talking about Matthew 5, verse 5. You're like, it says in
Oh,
verse
yeah,
5.
that's what it says. It goes in and it ends with, it ends by talking about how before you approach anyone in their sin, you need to make sure that you're approaching yourself and your own sin. So if I wanted to call out Becca for her judgment and how she's always judging people, like it's not right of me to do that if I'm not checking myself first and going, okay, you don't like it that when Becca judges, but how often do I judge? How often am I judging other people? And so I don't want you to think that it's never okay to approach someone in their sin. God does um, talk about how we need to, hold each other accountable, confess our sins to one another, and to make sure that we're trying to live as righteous as possible. But in order to live as righteous as possible and to help others do that, you have to make sure you're reflecting on yourself. And here's another thing. If you're out and about and you start judging people, the Bible makes it very clear. The only people that we can really judge, if we judge at all, are Christians. You can't judge a non-Christian for living a type of lifestyle or having a standard or a moral code or watching a TV show or a movie or using certain language or making certain decisions. You can't judge them for doing those things because we know that the Bible says not to. Because they're not living on the same standard that we're living on. And so it's not fair for us to be calling people out that don't believe in what we believe. And the Bible makes that very clear. We cannot do that. And if we do that, we're actually reflecting Christ in a poor manner. And so the only people that we can, I don't want to say judge or call out, I want to say help and hold accountable, if we do that at all, is with Christians. And it's often the Christians in our particular church and in our community, because we know them. We have a relationship with them, and so we can go ahead and call them out. Like Becca and I were just recently talking about how certain people, like people obviously know that we're getting married, right? And so we have people coming out of the woodwork to try and give us advice or say, hey, if you ever want to talk to me about something, I'd love to help you with this. And it's like, I haven't talked to you in 10 years. Why would I want to sit down on the phone and talk to you about my wedding? Or why would I? It's like, because we don't have that connection. But if my brother or, is Chris still on here? Chris Kroger, he's a really good pastor buddy of mine. If you could be like, hey, Jordan, I want to talk to you about something like this, or a good friend of mine, or a mentor of mine, or parents, or Becca's parents, like whatever it is, they can have that kind of accountability in our life because we have a relationship with them. And so if you don't have a relationship with someone and you're just out there judging them, dude, you're being really unfair, and that's not what Jesus calls you to be. Instead, he wants you to stop in that moment, reflect on your own life, and go, okay, what is it that makes you want to judge that person so badly? And we also covered how often the thing that bothers us the most about someone else is the thing that we probably struggle with the most in our life. And I know that's true for me. So with that said, we are about 15, 16, 17 minutes into this thing. I want to open it up to some questions. Do you guys have any questions about this topic of judging people and holding ourselves accountable? What do you guys think? Any questions? Because you guys can go ahead and start typing in your questions, and I'll just keep talking. But man, it's something that we struggle with a lot. Like if God is calling us to live righteous lives, but he's not calling us to live self-righteous lives, okay? It's not about going out there and comparing yourself to others. That's not what Christianity is about. We're not to compare ourselves to someone else. We're to compare ourselves to God, and God is the only one that can have a say in that. And so what's the best way to stop yourself? To stop yourself from judging? The best way to stop yourself from judging, here's the thing, and we talked about this a little bit last week. The reality is, I'm talking about judgment right now, and there's probably going to be a moment tonight where I end up judging something or a situation. So we're all going to have that moment, but it's important for us to remember. It's important for us to remember that I'm getting emails. Let me check my emails here real quick.
I'm putting my hat back on.
I'm
going with this one.
It's from parents trying to get on the YouTube channel. Bear with me here. Hold on. Real quick email back. Try Facebook or try YouTube once again. Okay. Sorry, guys. A good way to stop ourselves is something we talked about last week, is seeking first the kingdom of God and his righteousness. It takes discipline, and it takes a intentional part on our behalf, but you have to be able to get to a point in your life where you're willing to stop and think before everything that you do, right? Because in everything that we do, we want to make sure that we are seeking first the kingdom of God. And to do that, to make it a habit, you have to start talking to yourself a little bit. And you have to ask yourself, okay, like, this is why we love the phrase "go like Jesus," because you can just ask yourself, okay, is this something that Jesus would do? Is this something that would reflect Jesus's life? Is judging a sin, or is what you do with your judgment a sin? I would say that judging is a sin, depending in the definition that Jesus gives us. So let's read this. Okay. It's like gossiping, right? Gossiping is a sin. Well, gossiping and judging, do somewhat of the same thing. We've been covering a lot of like the inward things in our life, like storing treasures in heaven, don't worry, make sure what you're letting into your life isn't full of darkness, whatever it is. But this is one of the first times that we're focusing on in this series on the outward stuff. And so judging is something that you pour outward. It's something that you are taking into your thought and often coming out your mouth against someone else. Even if you don't speak it, you're still doing it in your mind and in your heart. And Jesus is saying, do not judge, or you too will be judged. Okay? And he goes on to say that, for in the same way that you judge others, you will be judged. With the same measure that you use, it will be measured to you. And so it's a sin in the way that Jesus tells us not to do it. It's just plain and simple. And then he goes on to say that if you do it, if you do judge, then on the level that you judge someone else, he's going to judge you on that same level. And so that's an accountability that's going to really convict us if you allow it to. If you stop and go, okay, I have this standard for someone, but I have this standard for myself. Well, God's not going to look at you and say, okay, well, I'm going to hold you to this standard. He's like, no, I'm going to hold you to this standard, if not more, because that's what you're expecting on other people. Do we have any other questions? I hope that makes sense. And the reality is, a lot of people don't want to hear that. People don't want to hear that judging is bad, because they want to continue to do it because they're judgmental. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's also important to reflect when people are trying to keep others accountable. I know that's something that I really struggle with, is when, somebody might put myself in check. And so I get instantly offended and don't really want to talk about anything anymore. If someone were to call me out on something that was definitely had purpose and truth to it, then my first reaction is just to be like, how dare you? But I think as Christians, we need to keep each other accountable, like Jordan said, and we do need to practice that first reaction, because I know for myself, my first reaction is out of like, I don't want to listen to you. And that shouldn't be our first reaction, because we're not able to actually take in and absorb things and reflect and change, because that should be how we are. We should be people who are able to look inward and say that needs to change. And so I know that's something that I really struggle with. And I think that kind of goes hand in hand with judging, because we might be easy to judge others, but we're not going to receive it very well. And if you can't do that, then you shouldn't be judging in the first place, right? And so, I don't know, that's something that I struggle with personally. I know a few others who also struggle with the same thing. It's a pride issue for me. But yeah, when you say that you do, what does it say?
Annika says, when you say that, do you mean the amount we judge others is the same amount God judges us with? Or is the amount we judge how much the world will judge us? I mean that when we judge others, it's the same as the level that God will judge us, not the world. And Hannah says that she agrees with you.
Yeah, it's hard.
Let's see here. All right, let's hear that John submitted a question. What is the judgment we'll face for judging? Will we lose salvation? No, I'm not gonna sit here and say that, you're gonna lose your salvation because of a sin in your life. Anytime that we sin, we know that we are also covered in the blood of Jesus. And because of his sacrifice for us on the cross, if we come to him in confession and repentance, he will come and wash us clean. But that doesn't mean that he's not going to still hold us accountable. The Bible is also very clear that we will be, that he will go over every single action in our entire life. And, I've been reading through Job this week, and, Job is very clear. He says, I have lived a blameless life, but he says, not because I want to be a righteous man for my own self, but because I know he's thinking in the future. He's like, I know that I'm going to stand in the presence of God one day, and he's going to review my life and every single action that I've made. And I want to make sure that it's a life worthy of being in the presence of God. And I appreciate that. So he says that I don't even look in with lust, or at least he tries not to, or I don't let a moment pass where I'm not helping the needy or the widow, because he goes, that is what I know God has called me to, and I'm going to have to stand in his presence one day and receive his judgment on my actions. And so that's also what I love about that, is Job is saying, look, that may not be the way that I necessarily always want to act, but it's the way that I know God is calling me to act, and I'm going to be held responsible for that. We're all going to have a one-on-one conversation with God, and ultimately it's up to us, how we kind of want to approach situations in our life, and how we want to act and do, and do certain things. I was going to say one other thing. What was I going to say? Bummer. I'm really good at that. What's up, bro? My brother's on here.
I think all of us struggle with it, though. So, if you struggle with it and you think you struggle more than others, that's not true. We all struggle with it. Some just deal with it or have learned to deal with it better, or maybe don't show it. Like I was talking about the silent judger rather than the outward speaking judger. I'm a little of both, but there's definitely people that you would never think are people that look at everyone on the street and would be judging them. But I think we all do it. It's almost a habit.
It's easy.
It's super easy. It's our inner dialogue, and it's just really learning how to react with those thoughts with grace. And that's something I've had to learn recently, is every time I have those thoughts, I instantly have to think that's God's creation. It's not just some person walking on the earth. God created that person, and with a specific purpose. And when I start thinking like that, it makes me rethink my whole thought process. And it's definitely hard to do that every time you have a thought, but it does get you in the better habit of giving grace to people, just loving on them, because really, who am I to think that I am any better?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. All right. Any other questions? Hopefully that's clear. Hopefully that makes sense. It's not an easy topic. And I mean, it actually is kind of an easy topic, but it's not easy. It's not an easy topic in the way that it's not what we want to hear, right? Um, in my teaching, I talked about like I'm a pretty sarcastic person, and I like humor, and sometimes I like to use it in a way that allows me to judge people, but it's all in the spirit of humor. And in reality, it's like that's not fair. That's not. I'm not. I'm not being I'm not being less judgy because I'm doing it in the spirit of humor. Like God's able to look through my humor and be like, yeah, Jordan, I know what you're trying to say there. Like your intention there was not to be funny. Your intention there was to be judgy and mean, but call it funny. So if that's something that you guys struggle with, like me, this topic isn't easy to hear because you're like, oh, dang, I'm going to actually have to take some action into my own life. And that's the hard part, is realizing that there's areas in our life that we have to change, and are we really willing to do it? And if you're not willing to do it, then let's have a conversation, because that's a different topic. But if you call yourself a Christian and you're like, man, I want to live this Jesus life, I want to dedicate my life to him, and you have to kind of do it his way. And he says, look, do not judge. And if you do judge, I'm going to judge you the same way that you judge others. That's his way of holding you responsible. Doesn't mean he doesn't love you, and it doesn't mean he's going to take away your salvation for it. Doesn't mean you're not going to go to heaven for it. It just means that you're going to be judged in the same way that we are.
I think something that's kind of funny that I realize that I do and a lot of people do, and I just did it not that long ago, was anytime we're about to outwardly talk bad about somebody or judge somebody, I know what I do is I'll be like, I love them, don't get me wrong.
But
and for some reason, I feel like I can just go ahead and keep talking because I said, I mean, they're funny, but, or I love them, but, and that's totally just us making excuses or thinking we're better. And something that actually made me kind of like rethink my whole talking about others or whatever. I was talking to somebody one time and I was totally just, I totally was just basically gossiping without really even realizing it. And I thought to myself, like, what if I heard like a recording of this, but somebody else was talking about it to me? Like, what if I heard two friends that I thought were friends talking about that same thing about me? I would feel awful and terrible and would never want to talk to them again, and also feel incredibly embarrassed. But if that's how I'm feeling about what I'm saying, then I definitely know that I need to take a step back and start reevaluating how I speak of others, and just how I think of others, because that really made me go like, wow, I need to start, getting my act together.
Yeah. It goes back to that whole thing of like, it's cool when I do it, but when you do it, you're a jerk.
Or I say it funnier, right? So it's fine. It's like, no.
Yeah. No, you're a jerk too. Hi, Landon. Hi, Keenans. Good to see you guys. I can't really see you, but good to see me. All right, cool.
Cats is that they're itchy.
I feel like we did a pretty good job of covering it. That's a half hour of that topic. And, like I said in my teaching yesterday, that like, this isn't easy to hear. And I think in my teaching, I said, like, I'm being harsh on you right now. And it's because I just want you guys to realize what you say and what you think matters, and how you say things and what you do, and all of that makes an impact. And, they say that smiling is contagious. Well, one smile, makes an impact on someone. Imagine what a word does compared to a smile, and especially if that word is nasty and not cool, it has nothing to do with the character of that person, but everything to do with just an action of the person. So with that said, instead of judging someone, my encouragement to you guys is try and train yourself for your first reaction towards someone or with someone, or in the presence of someone or for something that someone does, my challenge to you is that you train yourself to have your first thought be positive, and take into account that that person that you're looking at or you're thinking about or that you're with is just as sinful and broken as you are, and that you are no more, no less than they are.
Yeah, that's actually kind of what I did.
My brother says
I
at
just
least 5 to
started doing
7
that.
compliments to erase a negative
I
critique.
did that
Yeah.
the other month. I was thinking about that. I was like thinking all these thoughts about somebody, and I was frustrated with them for some reason. I don't even remember who it was. But in my head, that's when I had that like that's God creation style. I was like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna think of 3 good things about this person, and it actually does really help, and it kind of gets you in the habit of immediately taking that thought, throwing it away, replacing it.
Yeah, it takes 5 to 7 compliments to erase one negative thing that you say against someone. You know how I know that that's true? Is because I can feel it when someone does something negative to me. It's like I have that resentfulness towards them until they've done a certain amount of good things to earn it back. And so anyways, let's move on to some of the lighter topics. Okay, here's a few things. We're still doing our daily blog. So if you guys haven't already checked it out, check out golikejesusministries.com. It is our daily blog. You'll have blogs on there written by me, by Rebecca, by John Howard, by Annika, by the rest of the adult leaders. I know that those 2 are at least on here. And we have some students that write some stuff. I have one from Abby that I'm going to be posting here in a little bit, maybe tomorrow or next week. And then I have blogs being written by my brother. My mom has written one that I haven't posted yet. And so I'd just love for you guys to go and check it out. What we wanted to do was create an opportunity for you guys, anyone really, but for you guys especially, to have a piece of content from us almost every single day during the week, since you're at home. And a lot of us at home doing nothing. So this gives you the opportunity to at least read 1 blog per day, and on top of the other things that we're doing. Yeah, go and check out Eden's blog right now. Daisy just wrote one as well. They both did an incredible job. Today's blog was written by John Howard. He wrote about an epic water fight that he had years ago, when I was 5 years old, and when he was.
I wasn't born.
Oh yeah, she wasn't even born yet, and he was a youth leader at Riverview. So go check that out. I hope you guys are reading them every day. That's my wish.
Fun.
But if you can't do it every day, I hope you're at least checking them out weekly, that you're able to get on there. And if any of you guys are interested in writing a blog, or you guys are like, man, I'm interested in writing, I've never had the platform to get my words out or my thoughts out. I can't get my words out anymore anyways. Then I would love for you to write on our platform. We'd love to publish that. So let me know. And then on Wednesday afternoons, I'm going to be going live every single Wednesday afternoon with a friend of mine or a family member of mine or whoever. And I hope you guys check that out. Yesterday, it was Jeremiah Trujillo. He is a pastor at Riverview Church. He helps us out in our audio and visual stuff at the church. He does almost everything with the AV. And he's also just a really, really good friend of mine. And we talked yesterday about life. We talked yesterday about injuries. And we also talked about how honesty is brutal sometimes, and how I had to call him and apologize for something I did to him the other day, and all of that. So go and check that out, and be in tune next Wednesday. I'm going to be going live with my brother, and who knows what we're going to talk about. Who knows what kind of secrets we're going to expose on each other. But yeah, that you can look forward to that every Wednesday. If that's something that you would be interested in going live on with me, let me know. that'd be a ton of fun to just go live for about a half hour on a Wednesday afternoon. And then on Thursdays, make sure on Wednesday nights or on Thursday afternoons that you're checking YouTube or Facebook or Instagram to find our latest teaching, because I also record the teaching on Wednesdays and I post them on Wednesday nights to YouTube and post them to Facebook and Instagram by Thursday afternoon-ish. But you can always check YouTube YouTube on Wednesday evenings to get the teachings. And then to always tune in on Thursday nights with Rebecca and I. She will most likely always be featured.
And I will most definitely be wearing a hat.
And she's going to start wearing hats.
Maybe I'll talk in accents.
Daisy says she's going to do it. Okay, if you're interested in going live with me on Wednesdays, you need to send me a message. Daisy says I don't have to beg her. All right, please. Send me a text or a message. So the screen is frozen. Well, sorry about it.
Sorry.
And then what else? And then Fridays we do our small groups. So make sure to check in for that. If you'd like to get connected to a small group, let me know and we'll get you plugged in.
Lots of fun. Well, I'm sorry, guys. I keep yawning.
I'm boring her. With that said,
everybody, I'm telling you, man, I'm going to get you lots of views with these hats. Everyone loves my hats. Facebook doesn't really seem to like them, but Instagram's popping. What time is the 7th grade boys meeting?
What time is the 7th grade boys meeting tomorrow? That's a good question. I have that information for you.
Mine, which is 8th grade girls, if you're not part of it already, we meet at 6:30 on Friday nights. It's a lot of fun. Last time we talked about wedding dresses, which is everything a girl likes to talk about, so you won't be bored, that's for sure. If you're a boy, I wouldn't recommend coming to my small group.
The 7th grade boy meeting is, I believe, 6:30, but I will confirm that tomorrow. I'm sending out an email to all the parents out there for tomorrow, but I believe 7th grade is 6:30 tomorrow.
She loved it.
She did love it.
Stacey's also kind of like my biggest fan, though, so she's a little biased.
Yeah. Who's my biggest fan? Who's my biggest fan?
Besides me?
Yeah.
Abby might be.
Apparently it's not Abby because she's not on Instagram anymore. She bailed.
Julia is secretly our biggest fan. She just won't say it.
What's on Friday?
Except, where is Juliet?
I don't know. Juliet never
probably on
comes
Zoom again. And Becca's mine.
My mom says that she's my biggest fan. Oh, thanks, Mom.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Oh, thanks, Chase.
Yours. Drew. It is on Friday. Yeah, but what time?
Off topic, please. Someone just eat an avocado for me.
Oh, I have an avocado
today. It was one thing on my list. Terrible.
I have a ripe avocado. I should go eat it. I live on an avocado ranch, so.
Yeah. My cousin over here is talking about how she had an avocado today and she doesn't like it, but what she doesn't know is that we're in the avocado capital of like the world, and Becca has 12 acres full of avocados. So
order them at rossybranch.com.
Go to rossybranch.com for all of your avocado needs. Drew.
I should just cut one open and show y'all.
It is on Friday, but I do not know the time of the meeting. Oh yeah, that's Sean, because he's going to be in the 7th grade meeting. I believe it's at 6:30. Sean, do you remember what time it was last week? Because it's the same time. My meeting is at 6 or 6:30 as well. So that'll be good. Okay.
Fun.
I had something I wanted to talk about, but I forgot.
Vlogs. Oh, we also have YouTube playlists. We're supposed to have another one coming out. Those are really good. Adam and Grace do a really good job of coming up with new content. So if you need some new music to listen to, new worship music, check it out because there's a lot of good ones on there. And I don't know when they're coming out with their next one, but hopefully soon. They're really good. It's
on there weekly. So you can go to our YouTube account, which is Go Like Jesus with an exclamation point. And you can go to our Instagram account, or my personal Instagram account, and go to the link tree in my bio, and it will take you to all that you'd like to see. Oh, Hannah said she's going to have an order soon.
They're big. That's the thing.
Hannah, where are you gonna go to college?
You'll pay the same amount that you go in the store, except you're gonna get them big and they're gonna be amazing and they're yummy. I was gonna show you how to do this.
They can't see.
That's the Instagram. There's like this little thingy, this link, and it says Linktree. Go to worship playlist.
Here you go, your playlist.
Oh, avocado.
Ooh.
Isn't there a ripe one?
Oh, here's an avocado.
So
you see, guys, with an avocado, if you don't know how to eat them, what you want to do is just grab them firmly in your hand like this and then just take a bite.
People have actually done that.
You don't want to do that. You don't want to eat the skin.
And then here's all these songs.
How big this
probably
is,
about
though.
20 minutes of songs.
This is the size of avocado that they have on this farm, and bigger.
They're bigger. That's actually probably one of our smaller ones.
These things are huge. This is about half. You get half the size of this at the grocery store.
Yeah. I love them on sandwiches. A half of one will fill up a sandwich. They're really yummy.
This is like half the size.
Also, if you live in Fallbrook, go to Dominic's Deli because we are the avocado supplier.
Oh yeah. Hey, do you guys like Dominic's? If you don't like Dominic's, you should go to Dominic's.
They're so good.
And you should order a sandwich with guacamole on it, or
so
not
good.
Guacamole, avocado. If you get avocado, you're getting Rebecca's avocados from Dominic's.
They're good. We handpick them. My dad goes out. He's a little farmer guy. He's not little, but he puts on his pack and he goes, "See you later, honey."
He walks
truck through the grove and
8 miles a day.
Handpicks them for y'all. And my mom, she washes them up and she packages them. She kisses each one, and off they go.
And off they go.
She doesn't kiss them. That would be against COVID rules. But they do get washed.
This thing is huge, though. Going to tech school out here, community school out in Cali, then transferring to a university for.
Oh, you asked her about college.
Oh, wait. You're coming to California for school? That'll be sweet. Kira, do you think avocados are good? Is that what you're saying? Because avocados are good. They're very good. And I've had pizza probably the last 4 days.
I don't know how you eat that much pizza. I'm not really that much of a pizza person. I love homemade pizza. I think I just like dough. I
really only like Village Pizza.
And I don't like Village Pizza. It tastes kind of bad. Oh my gosh.
We don't need to look at her anymore.
I'll get Facebook.
We don't need to look at her anymore.
Is there anybody else that has anything else to say? Any fun comments? Why is
Dominic's, anything else? Yeah, Dominic's is good. Okay.
This is kind of our fun hour of we're done with all the hard stuff. Daisy always wants to go live.
Daisy always wants to go live.
Michelle's out buying pizza for dinner because of you.
Nice. My sister-in-law is getting pizza for her family because she wants to get because of me.
I want my hat for you.
Daisy is now live on YouTube.
It's like the same one that I have almost.
Not YouTube. I'm sorry.
They're both wearing hats.
You can't talk at the same time as me.
It's just exciting.
Daisy's on Instagram live right now with us, and she's wearing a hat. And so is Chase, and he looks beautiful. All right, Sean is leaving. We'll go ahead and
probably say goodbye.
Say bye to Facebook and YouTube as well, because
go to the after party.
You guys have been 46 minutes now on. I try to only make these a half hour on Facebook. So if you're on Facebook and you want to keep the conversation going, jump on over to Instagram, and that'll be fun. If not, then we will catch you later on tomorrow with your small group leader. Hope to see you there. And have a great rest of your evening. Stay tuned for tomorrow for a blog, and then go to church on Sunday virtually, and then check me out on Wednesday afternoon when I go live with my brother. Okay.
Bye.
Bye. Boom. Facebook is.
Bye, YouTube. Is there anybody on YouTube? Oh, 2 people. So.
Bye, YouTube.
All right, the after party.